Here's all the artwork. It's right here, just because this is where the water is allowed to come into the cave. Good morning, everyone. We are at the Mammoth Cave Visitor Center, and we are getting ready to go on our cave tour. So the one we're going on today is the Grand Avenue, which actually entails a number of different cave tours. So they're kind of all worked into one. This is a 4-hour tour. They don't let you take selfie sticks in or anything like that, so I am holding the camera like I used to, I guess. So back to old ways. Yeah, back to the old ways. So anyway, we are going to, the tour starts at 9:45, so we are headed over to the pavilion for our safety talk, and then from there we'll be going out to get on a bus, and they'll take us to where we're at. So anyway, this is Tigner Adventures. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully you can come along and see what this is all about, and see if this is something that you would like to do.
It's a big cave.
It's a very big cave. So 450 miles long cave, and
I don't think we're going to walk the whole thing.
Yeah, we're not going to do all that. So right here, Grand Avenue Tour, 4 hours, 4 miles, 1,313 stairs. Well, hopefully we're in good enough shape for that. We'll sure find out today, because this is Monday, and on Wednesday we have another tour. So hopefully we'll be recuperated to be able to go on that tour.
Folks, it's my pleasure and privilege to take you through your cave this morning as we explore a large chunk of what made this cave significant, both pre-1900s and post-1900s, let's put it that way. So we've got a lot of information, a lot of distance, and a lot of time before us, and we're gathered here so you can kind of understand what you got yourself into by signing up for this tour, right? Folks, this tour is gonna last 4 hours, right? 4 hours till we have you right back here, right? And on those 4 hours, we will be covering 4 miles. Doesn't seem so bad, but we will also be stopping. We will be investigating some things. We will also be walking along in the first part of the trail and the last part of the trail, very rough, bumpy surfaces. Some old trail, packed dirt, crushed rock, made in the 1930s, right? So it's uneven, it's bumpy, it's rough. And we will be tackling along these 4 miles stairs. Yeah, 1,330 stairs await us, folks. So yeah, I can't even count that high. That's a lot. Some of those go very high up. We have some hills, 70 feet from top to bottom, that a switchback passageway is gonna go along, folks. This is a strenuous tour. Strenuous. People will be huffing and puffing at the end of this. Ranger Tom is going to be in the back of the group today. He has his own responsibilities. He makes sure things like phones work, but he is there to assist you with anything should that arise in the cave today. So if you need anything, Ranger Alex, Ranger Tommy, we're here to make your time here enjoyable, safe, and hopefully worth coming here to visit us here in Kentucky, folks.
We're going down in the dark hole of the cave right now. I think this is quite a few of the 1,300 stairs we got to take. We are going straight down. All right, we are in the cave. And the lighting's a lot better down here. But we got Ranger Rick over here to the side, so this is where we're gathering first, it looks like.
I do have 2 final pieces of technical advice for you here today. Maybe not technical, but rangerly advice. Folks, if you want a slower pace, for whatever reason on your tour, I want you to make your way to the front. Behind me is going to be the slowest point in your tour. I'm not going to run through this cave, folks. But in the back, you might think I'm running through this cave, right? I'm not running, right? But we get stretched out. That back is always trying to catch up.
It's not just the stairs you got to worry about, it's the walkway going down. It's like, that's going to take a toll on our knees. Pretty big opening. We are still going down. So we're going to go about a mile down here before we really get to our next stop, and probably it's going to probably just look about like this all the way. It's pretty interesting. The camera actually makes it a little bit brighter than what it really is as you're walking through here. So it's hard to really see the floor, and it's not very even necessarily. And the group, even though they say they're going slow, seems to go pretty good pace. But again, we have a mile to go, so if we don't get moving, we'll be here all day.
Right, it's almost as soon as we came around that corner, we left behind those high ceilings, those chunky, jagged, broken down walls and rubble on the floor, and now we are in this much more intimate, tubular passageway. And you can get a real beautiful kind of view down here, one of the longer unobstructed views in a cave where nothing is straight. Well, and that tells you, you can see the shape of this passageway, and that would tell a geologist something about its formation. You see, Mammoth Cave is like so many other caves on Earth. The building blocks are basically limestone, water, and time. And as those three things interact, they give us, well, the characteristics of each cave that is formed in that way.
We're now walking on a concrete sidewalk. We're at least a half mile or so into this cave. So you gotta wonder how they got all the concrete down here. It's a lot of concrete and water and mixing it up and pouring it, because it's a pretty nice sidewalk. Well, we are at the 1 mile mark apparently, because we're at the bathrooms and staging area. Where's my hard hat? This is like a slot canyon inside the mountain, except this is the first slot canyon I've been in that had actual stairs and concrete or a sidewalk. Oh, and a nice handrail. Going down through a little passageway. A little hole, a vertical area. Wow. That was quite the climb out.
Place its namesake, folks. This is what we call the fairy ceiling, right? Because there's said to be a young woman sitting here during George's time, and she'd look up at those features and she'd say, that looks like a fairy castle, right? Maybe those are the fairy subjects walking up. Maybe that's the fairy prince's banishment when he yaks up, right? Fairy I-65 down here to the fairy suburb. Right? Fairy ceiling, folks. You gotta get a little creative.
Coming into the section of the cave where they have a little bit of the little artwork. This is where the cap that covers the limestone of most of Mammoth Cave has eroded away, and so it's allowing water to come through, and so it's allowing formations to form. So here's all the artwork. It's right here, just because this is where the water is allowed to come into the cave. And we also have, this is what they're going down below to look at, is that particular artwork. And then we have the section that's up here. They've got a lot of the artwork over here on the left that's all fenced off so people don't ruin it. And here comes Ninette. Yay! We're at the end. How about this view of this formation here? We are coming up to the exit of the cave. Wow. Oh, a lot warmer out here. Humid. bus is showing up. Well, we have finished the Grand Avenue tour. 4 hours, 4 miles.
Fast.
We should have paid attention to the strenuous.
Yeah.
Didn't, I mean, we can hike that with no problem, except that it was like the guy says, I go slow, and it's like, he's got really long legs, so he was not, I mean, he might be going slow according to him, but according to us, he was running. And so it really took a toll on us trying to keep up with the group. And he said, if you're up front, it's slower than in the back. Well, we tried all different places. It didn't work, so.
The back was okay.
The back was okay. We actually stayed back with the last ranger and just kind of went at our pace that allowed us to get through there. It was really hard on the knees, going a lot of down, a lot of up.
Up was fine.
Up's always easy. It's going down that's hard with the knees. So
down fast is even worse.
So it was interesting. How we would classify it is it was a
hike underground.
So a 4 mile hike underground.
And the last was wow.
Yeah.
Now you've got the cave.
The last what we're used to seeing, like at Carlsbad Cavern, they don't have that here because there's no water. It's all dry for the most part, and so. When you get to the very end of the tour, which is the drips and domes, that's where the hard cap above you're coming out the side of the mountain, so that's worn off and the water starts getting into the cave. And so that's when you start getting some of your artwork and things that you would think that you were going to see. Other than that, it's just, it was just a long hike. And so
it was a lot like going through a slot canyon underground. I mean, it was cool, and it was really big.
Yeah. And the cool part, too, though, was the history. I mean, the tour guide, both of them, I mean, they did really good. They've spent a lot of time looking up the history of the whole area. I mean, and they gave us a complete history tour today and all the things that happened throughout the cave and everything. So, I mean, they really put a lot of effort into making it a really cool tour, and what it was is a really cool history of the area, and so that was pretty cool. If we would have went a little bit slower or were in a little bit better shape, then the hiking part of it would have been fine.
Younger, 20 years younger.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean we're
pretty
at least 20 years older than most of the people, but that's not an excuse. That's just a number, remember?
Tell my knees that.
It's catching up with this number though. But anyway. That might not be the tour that you want to take. Pay attention to the strenuous word because it was very strenuous. I can hardly even say the word. But anyway, it was good. It was 4 hours. So some of the other tours, the extended historic tour, we were going to do that. We just went and got our money back. They were nice enough to give us our money back on that. Because it's 2 hours and it's pretty much the same site, same kind of stuff. It's just a different portion of history, and so they're telling you different history things. It's a different time in history, so that's what that is. And so they're just telling you different stories. So anyway, the site's not really any different, and so there's no way that we would be able to do that 2 hours. But maybe the 2 hours would be the place that we should have been to begin with. Or just the drips and domes, which is only like an hour or so, hour and a half. That was the Niagara one. Yep, that one.
Big ending of the one we did.
Yeah. So anyway, it's been fun. It was good experience, and we just want to make sure that we won't do that tour again, but we want to make sure you guys understand it too. And make the right choices when you come here. Just kind of pay attention to the kind of the time frames and stuff. And if you really are looking for formations and things, then what I would do is talk to the ranger and find out which tours really have the formations. And so it looked like the Onyx tour and the Drips and Stones, Drips and
Niagara
Falls, those ones actually had the formations and stuff in them, which, I mean, we're covering all that, with this Grand Avenue tour, but that's a lot of work just to see that little bit there. So it'd been better to do the smaller ones. So anyway, so with that said, we're going to go ahead and end this video. Thanks for coming along, and hopefully this is of good information to you and will help you in making the determination what you want to do at Mammoth Cave. And this is another national park that we've visited, and it was fun to see it. And we're just going to leave it at that. So thanks for following, and we'll just catch you on down the road somewhere, and if not, on our next video. So take care.
Bye.